So the question is, who or what is a system? That is the probing question many Kenyans must have asked themselves after Deputy President William Ruto who is a key member of government, sensationally claimed that the system was out to finish him. Seth Olale sought views from political commentators as to the nature of who, what, and how the system works. Then also shall throw it to our panelists as well.
We are going to have a leader. Mutapiga kura kwa kiongozi wa kuongoza nchi hii. Na kati ya hao viongozi watakuwa kwa serikali William Samoei Ruto, Boni Halwale, na hao wote ambao wako mrengo huo hawatakuwa ndani ya serikali.
Those executing this scheme, this elaborate scheme to undermine and destroy my office and ostensibly to stop me using all these schemes, I want to tell them they may have the system. They may have whatever they have. But I want to tell them we have God.
If they have the system, you have a network across Kenya of millions of Christians who are praying and standing with you.
Hakuna system na deep states kuliko ile ilikuwa na Goliath. Lakini Daudi alikuwa na siri. He knew the secret. Kwamba sio farasi ya vita. Na sio ile kijiti ya vita. Na sio deep state. Na sio naambiwa kama Matiang'i.
Return of the system. A system so powerful that it's the one calling the shots right at the center of the country's governance. But just who really is the system or the deep state as alluded by Gatundu South MP?
Very influential people in and out of government, and they can influence the way the government behaves. And those others who may not be part of the clique then find it difficult to get their views heard and things like that. But it's difficult to say that this is the deep state. Here it is. Yes. You can't. Because the people involved, in some places they call them what? The establishment. Yeah. Like in the US, it's called the establishment.
It's not just the deputy president complaining of the system.
I'm told that some CSS and the PSS are bragging that the CJ will or should be removed before the end of this year. Really? Kumbe hii nchi kuna wenyewe. Some of us are serving at their pleasure.
You keep low to avoid, attracting negative attraction. Yet you have, and the ones that are very good, they manage to keep as low as they can, and not being seen in any way to be very ambitious, not to be seen to be aspiring.
Some of them are transnational corporations. Others are huge national corporations. Some are huge, huge investors who actually, when they sneeze, the economy of this nation catches a cold. And therefore, they have an overbearing presence in the decisions of government.
The outcome of the Building Bridges consultative forums that might, in the end, recommend for a referendum is being considered as a litmus test, and that which will determine the nature of engagement involving the interested parties in the political arena. Seth Olale, NTV, Nairobi.
All right, so those names are coming to the public lexicons, the system, the deep state. We want to just unravel this and see who are the deep state and how that also the system or the deep state really interferes with democracy. Ahmed Hashi.
These violent delights have violent ends. Shakespeare once quipped in one of his plays. And about, I asked, the elephant in the room here is William Ruto. Nobody wants to say it, but I shall say it. I think the deputy president has lost confidence from his boss. The whole country can see it, we can see it, and we don't have a process to say leave. So this is why you hear on the national newspapers that he should stay home, he should do this. We have an unprecedented situation in this country today, Debal, where the deputy president is not the deputy president in substance anymore. You know, it's a very chaotic situation within government, and that has a security angle for us. And the question is whether or not that these delights are going to cause us to get into problems when we come to the referendum or when we come to the elections. BBI is precisely supposed to be bridging these divides within our people. But the chieftaincies of the tribal chieftaincies in this country are not going to go down willingly. And I think that there is something called personal self-respect and personal integrity in politics. When you are in a political system and you've lost confidence of the person who has brought you into power with them, I think the thing about it is to go to the president and say, look, I don't seem to have your confidence. This is the job you gave me. Take it back. I'm going to go to my political party and I'm going to go contest for this job. That's the honorable thing to do. Whether you think the president has acted dishonorably with you or he has acted honorably with you, the most important thing is for your personal integrity. And I think that, Debal, I want to send this message out to the people of this country, and particularly to what's happening in the political class today. Kenya does not need these kinds of rifts anymore. We can't deal with it. This is why we have the BBI. And sometimes you have to rise above your petty misgivings and say, the relationship has come to an end. I am no longer making any decisions. I'm no longer part of the team. I need to go to my political party and ask the people of Kenya to give me a mandate. Watu wakutane kwa debe. But in this situation in which the deputy president is on national TV claiming that the system is after him, he is the system. I mean, if Deputy President Ruto is not the system, who is?
All right, Peter Kagwanja.
Let's first of all get to understand some of the concepts and the context in which they are used, because we are basically, kind of, overwhelming Kenyans with very heavy concepts and terms. First, a system in its generic sense is a very simple thing. It's about an organized, orderly way of getting things done, and there is no alternative to a system in that meaning. Yeah. It's about methods, it's about procedures, it's about routines that get things done. That's how what a system is. The big question is the morality driving that system. That's usually the case. But the way the deputy president uses the concept of system here is in a very derogatory manner. The way we understand in the Godfather, the mafia world, the criminal underworld. That's how it is used. In other words, it's an attempt that has been used by very many people down centuries to claim victimhood, particularly if they have serious issues that one is afraid of. And I don't think it's a matter of systems versus individuals or individuals versus systems. When a young man dies mysteriously, in very, very questionable senses, what's wrong with the system asking those questions? Where are Kenyans supposed to go to get answers to those questions? When a scandal happens in an office where even an individual is not supposed to go without, because this is really what the highest office, what are people supposed to do? Now, related to that derogatory meaning of systems is what has been called the deep state. Those who knows the mechanics of democracy, democracies are about influential people, not only at the national level, even where Ambassador Mwencha worked. I mean, you know how we lobbied in the corridors of power in Addis Ababa, even to have you re-elected again and again. And the influential people is the capacity to lobby. Now, in a country like this one, the deep state is not just the military or the securocrats and so on, my friend general there. It also involves the tribes. And that's why tribes have become such a powerful actor in this country. Now, if you want to know the viciousness of the Somali community, really? Just go to the mosque and see the robbing. If you want to see the viciousness of the Gema community, go to where they are meeting. This is the point. You know, if you want to show the viciousness of the Kalenjin community, go to the Muyot and the crowds where they meet. These are the real deep states. It is not even the secular class, because the secular class become part and parcel of deeper states. We need to define deeper state in a more in a more positive sense, that it is the groups that makes us. It's the groups that coalesce. Ile mnaita kitchen. The kitchen of communities are those what you're calling the deep state. But when you start now, say, system versus me, and you are inside the system, you remind me of Churchill, what we call the prerogative of the harrod. You want to eat it, and you want to be inside. This is Churchill, not me. The prerogative of the harrod. You are inside, and you are denying that you are not inside. Check the
prerogative of the harrod.
Yeah, prerogative of the harrod.
You're making Dr. Mustafa's eyes bug out. With
Politics, I think it was Ronald Reagan who said politics might have been the second profession in the world, but it's not any different from the first one. And this is where the problem is, Dibal, when you talk about the deep state, the kind of the tribal enterprise that our politics has become. And that's where we must face it. It's about poverty. Ni umaskini tu. It's about tamaa, greed. It's what I'm going to eat there, and that's what we see, Dibal. And most of these people who are hankering, or you know, the sycophants and those who congregate in those areas, they rarely talk about the state or the nation or nation building. They might in a few instances, but a lot of times it's just about, you know, how do I get there? How do I get to that power? And that's where the problem is in this country. If we're going to move our country in a way that we are not undermining the negative aspects of a tribal enterprise, and focusing a lot on ethnicism rather than, you know, deploying our different ethnic identities for the benefit of this country, then we are going to get stuck and we won't move far.
So, yeah, we need to take a short break, before we come to you. And then the question that we need to ask ourselves, then what is the essence of having a BBI? The essence of us really, you know, going to the ballot and you say, tukutane kwa debe. But at the end of the day, we find that there is a selected few who will determine the trajectory, who will determine, you know, the way forward for the country. So where is democracy in all this? You've talked of all these, you know, different facets of democracy, delegated, you know, which was the other one I forget that you're telling me. Direct democracy. Liquid democracy, yes. Yeah, and all, even a liberal democracy. And we wonder in the first place, what is a liberal democracy in that sense as well? So how is the system also affecting, you know, the space of democracy? We want to look at this on the other side of a break before also we'll get granular with other issues as well as far as international politics is concerned. Don't go away, much more coming up on the other side of a break.